Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Chevelle and that behind me is my dog Jose. Today we're going to be doing a WIP parade. I recently had my birthday and so I'm gonna do my WIP parades at the turn of my age instead of at the turn of the year. I have quite a few projects to show you. I have about 22 projects. Some of them have very little stitching in them, just started, and some of them are actually quite far along. So if you're here with me, it is going to be a longer one. So if you're stitching, I hope that the frog doesn't come visit you. And if you're watching, grab a soda. I have a seltzer. And we'll just get right into it. So I have a PowerPoint here, so hopefully I will remember to tell you all the information. So as a project comes up, I will run and get it, and I am taking all these projects out of their frames to show you. So this one is Winter Cabin. It is a Dimensions Gold kit, so it is a Dimensions kit. This is my oldest project. So this is my first project and it's also my oldest project. I started this back, I got it around my birthday. So it was probably September 2019. And I saw someone doing a FlossTube on YouTube and I thought, oh, that looks fun. And so this is the kit that I picked up. So as you can see, I'm more than halfway done. I'm probably about 60%. And this project has been showcased a lot on my FlossTube. So you got a cabin up there, and then a river, and some cute little deer. And this is how far I've gotten. For a while there, I was working on it like 1,000 stitches every week. And this is one of the WIP Go projects that recently got called for me. So I'm trying to put in like 2,000 stitches before the end of the year. I would like to finish it, but I'm also not in a rush to finish it. So it's kind of one of those things that like if it happens, it happens, but there's no rush on that. So yes, this is the oldest project I own. This is the first project I ever started. It's a Dimensions Gold kit called Winter Cabin if you want to go check it out. And it's on 16 count Aida, and I'm using all the provided materials in the kit. Okay, this next project is in two parts. It is the largest pattern I have, but I also think it's one of the biggest patterns for sale on Heaven and Earth Designs. So this is Garden of Earthly Delights. This is probably the second project I've done. I really bit off a huge chunk after realizing that I did like cross stitching in Winter Cabin. This is probably my second or third project. It's not going to be finished anytime soon. Even if I worked on it consistently and put in like 200 to 500 stitches a day, it would still take me 10 years. So I'm probably not going to finish this. But essentially, if you don't know what Garden of Earthly Delights is, it's a huge tripic oil painting from the late 1400s by Harmonious Bosch. And I have started the middle picture and the right picture. So essentially I started in the garden, the middle one, and I started hell. And these are both on 25 count Lugana Easy Good with all the called for DMC, and I am using it with Pattern Keeper. And once again, this is a Heaven and Earth Designs. So we'll just show you the middle one. This is the one that I have gotten the most progress on so far. And it is currently in my WIP Go rotation. So I am putting in 2,000 stitches into this. So as you can see, there's like a little man on like a griffin holding a branch in the sky. This is less than 1%. So the middle by itself has like 100 pages in it. And this is about a page a book, 2 pages a book. Something that's interesting in this project is when I first started it, I was doing full cross. So I was doing 2 legs over 1 strand, and this is 25 count Lugana. I got like halfway into the page and just realized that I'm never going to finish this project if I do full cross, because this is how far I've gotten and it's been 2 years. So I started doing tent stitch, and I don't think you can really tell. So if you are curious, this up here is all full cross, and this down here is half stitch, and you don't really notice unless you tilt it to the side and you're really looking. So that is how far I've gotten on the middle picture in Garden of Earthly Delights. And then on the side picture, I started Hell, but as you can see, there's not much to see there. It's mostly 310, but every once in a while they throw like a dark brown at you. So obviously I haven't gotten that far. So yeah, that is Garden of Earthly Delights. If you're looking for a lifetime project, this will be a lifetime project for me. So I recommend it. It's kind of fun. But don't expect, you know, to get a whole lot of progress and finish it quick, or else you're probably going to get discouraged. Okay, moving on. My next project is Circle Limit with butterflies. It is also another Heaven and Earth Designs, and it is by MC Escher as the artist. Once again, this is on 25 count Lugana, easy grid with other card for DMC. I don't know if I'm going to continue this project. When I originally got this project, I really liked the design. Very beautiful. But it is so confetti heavy that I just don't see myself stitching with it. It takes like an hour for me to stitch 30 pieces because it's so confetti heavy. This is what I've gotten so far. And it kind of looks like a kaleidoscope. So as you go out, like butterflies start to form. And so this is the very center. But like it is so confetti heavy. And as you can see, I tried doing continental, like cross-country stitching, and I also tried to do parking, and I'm just not in love with this. So it might be UFO'd and finished. So yeah, that's Circle Limit. This next project is by Ink Circles. It's called Masquerade. Here it is. Looks like I got a stain on it, but I don't think it'll matter just because it's kind of grungy anyways. So this is 18 count Sprite Ada. Picture this plus. So this one has been in timeout for a while, just because when I went to stitch this on a Stitch With Me actually, I noticed that this whole area is off. So I kind of put it in timeout just because it's kind of disheartening when you don't know even where you messed up and you don't really know how to fix your problem. So if I were to create a game plan, my game plan would be to come down on this side and fix it over here and rip out stuff and use this as my reliable side. Overall, I really like this. I like the owls and the cats are really cute. So yeah, very fun. I probably won't stitch on this till fall unless it's called in a WIP project, but I might be able to finish it this year. So that'll be fun. And then I just wanted to mention on that Masquerade project that I am using all the called for DMC. When you get the chart, she has it in like fancy floss, and then she also has it in pre-converted DMC, and that's what I'm using. The next project is 'Twas the Night. This is the Christmas story, or like 'Twas the Night Before Christmas. I was actually inspired to do this pattern by another FlossTuber. Their channel is called Little Yellow House Crafts. I will link their channel down below. She has some really good like Christmas stuff, and then she also one thing I really like is she also gave her recommendations on how to finish stockings, but without using the if you're using a kit, using the provided felt that would, you know, slowly degrade over time. So go check her out. Really amazing FlossTuber. But anyway, she inspired me to do this project. So this is how far I've gotten. This is on 32 count raw gold Belfast linen on 32, and I am using all the called for DMC. The next project that I am doing is also a dimensions kit. This one came out fairly recently. It's a stocking. I believe this is called Santa's Truck stocking. It is a full kit, and I am using the provided 14 count Aida with all of the provided materials, except I am going to finish it differently than just sewing felt on the back. And this is how far I've gotten. Sorry about all the threads. I just like poke threads willy-nilly wherever I feel like it, whenever I don't feel like counting. Okay. So I think it's turning out really cute. I did see some like really cool like alternative versions. So there's some like pictures out there on the internet of like people who've added like their dogs to the passenger seat of the truck. And that's so cute. I would do that if I hadn't already stitched it. But life is too short to frog all of that. And I'm also not sure how to chart that just because I don't have a program. And I don't know, he's like a small dog, so it would be like a giant version of him, like a German Shepherd, which isn't bad. I love German Shepherds. But anyway, lots of cute alternative versions out there. Very fun stitch. Would I get it finished by Christmas? Who knows? Yeah. This next project is a very popular project because it came out for free in the first couple months of its life, maybe 1 month. This is Pandemic by Long Dog Sampler. I am doing this on 18 count white Aida, and the thread color is DMC 815. And this is how far I've gotten. It is really wrinkly because I tried to take it traveling with me a few times. But yeah, not very far, to be honest. I don't know, I just feel like those other projects that and I had it upside down. It's supposed to be this way. There's just other projects that I would rather work on. But when this is finished, it'll be massive. It'll be very big. And then at that point, I'm not sure what I'll do. I might pay to have it framed. We'll see. Okay. This next one, I am not going to be taking off the frame. It's on a skull frame. This is a Heaven and Earth Designs mini. And this is Contessa with squid. This has been showcased several times on my Stitch With Me's. Let me scroll the frame down so you can see it. Like I said, this is a mini size, and I'm actually doing it on 18 count easy grid with the called for DMC. And then the only other thing I really wanted to mention about this was this project was inspired by Michelle at Bendy Stitchy. I saw that she wasn't doing the mini size, she was doing the full size, but I just thought it was a really beautiful design and pattern, and so I picked it up for myself. And this is the bottom, so this is her face, and then she's holding a little squid. So yeah, I probably have about 10% done on this project. And it is one of the only projects that I have in a scroll frame. I will include Michelle Bendy Stitchy's channel down below, but she's very popular. I'm sure you've heard of her if you watch FlossTube videos. The next project that I have is another Heaven and Earth Designs, but this is a story keep size, so it's only about 90 stitches across. This is Home Is Where the Magic Is by Randall Spangler. If you like this, but you want it in a bigger size, I know that there's, you know, a bigger like village picture, but I just wanted the Victorian house with the moon. This is on 25 count Lugana with all the required called for DMC and Kreinik. And I got really into stitching this. I'm probably about a third or almost half the way done. And I think it's turning out really great. This is 10 stitch. So this is 2/1, 25 count, 10 stitch. And the only place I didn't use 2/1 10 stitch is when I used 3/1 10 stitch. So I used 3 strands of thread, and I did that in these darker areas just to provide some more coverage. But when you get down here into the lighter colors, you don't hardly even notice it. Also, some of the white spaces that you're seeing is just like stars in the pattern. So even if you see a little bit of white, it still passes off as like stars in the night sky. So yeah. The next project that I'm working on is The Great Wave. So this is a DMC kit where they partnered with the Great British Museum to release quite a few popular classical art pieces in cross-stitch form. The pattern does provide 14 count Aida, and I am using all the provided thread, so whatever they gave me I'm using. I did unbox this kit on my channel. It's probably like my second video, So if you're curious about how DMC kits are packaged, or if you would like the materials provided in the DMC kit, I will provide that video down below. But yeah, this is how far I've gotten. So you can see Mount Fuji in the background, and then the wave is swelling up over here. Oh, by the way, so you can see how there's kind of like this straight line here. That's because I didn't feather like I did over here. So if you're going to be stitching straight blocks, I highly recommend you feather them by just putting a stitch or two as you go along the side of the next block to kind of prevent that. The next project is I guess the official name for this project is Eden Serpent, but I just call it the flower snake. This was a pattern I got off of Etsy, and you know, someone left a comment, and I find this to be true for me as well. They were talking about how it was such a slow stitch for them, and I agree. This is a very slow stitch. The reason for that, for me at least, is because there's a lot of blends. So you take one strand of one color and one strand of another color to make two strands for you to go over one thread. But that means I can't work on this in the dark. So I need to have lots of ample light to see what's going on and what I'm stitching. But I agree, it is a very slow stitch, and I'm probably about a third of the way done or halfway done. This is on 18 count fiddler's cloth with all the card for DMC. This next project is also another long dog sampler. It's called the Pointed Fifth, or Quinto Acuto. This is stitched on 18 count. However, there is no planned colors. So when you buy this, it is monochrome, so just black and white. But I am just stitching whatever I feel like. I'm also putting all of my like leftover threads from other projects into this. So yeah, that is where I am on the Pointed Fifth by Long Dog Sampler. I don't know, for some reason, like, the hoarder in me has a really hard time, like, letting go of leftover thread. So if I like the color, then I'll just put it in here somewhere as like an animal or something. This next pattern is a dimensions kit. I am using all of the provided materials. So this is stitched on 14 count black Aida, and I'm using all the provided threads. This is called Frederick the Literate, and as you can see, there's like stacks of books, and they're all related to like birds and cats and mice. And then there's a cat that's sleeping here on the bookshelf, and you can see his little paw. This is interesting because like this black space up here, you don't stitch this. So where it's black is where you see the fabric. So yeah, that is where I'm at on Frederick the Literate. This next project is called Asian Sampler by Cooler Design Studio. You can actually just go to Cooler Design. They have a website, and I bought like the pattern, the PDF. This was actually inspired for me to stitch by a channel called Stitching Dreamer. I will link them down below. They do a lot of stitch with me's with this pattern, and they just inspired me to start stitching it. Mostly because down here they have little koi fish, and I really like koi fish. I like the way they look. I'm stitching this on 14 count with the called for DMC. However, if you do decide to stitch this Asian sampler, I highly recommend you actually go up to the higher counts where you would stitch 2 strands over 2, because there's a lot of like half and quarter stitches, and when you're stitching on Aida, I don't know, it just feels kind of weird to like punch through the fabric. So this is how far I've gotten. Stitching Dreamer has gotten a lot further, and she does beautiful work. So if you want to see a project that's way farther than this, I recommend you check her out. I will link her channel down below. But yeah, that's where I've gotten. And as you can see, there's different blues here. That's actually the same thread, but part of the threads are full cross, so one leg crossing over the other, and the other portion, the lighter portion, is actually 10 stitch or half stitch. So yeah. This next project is another Heaven and Earth Designs. This is Spellbound by Miles Pinkley. This is a max color, and this is on 18 count fiddler's cloth, but it's not the called for DMC. I did adjust the DMC colors in Pattern Keeper, and I do have a video on that on my channel on how I adjust colors in Pattern Keeper. So if you're interested in how I adjusted the colors for that, or you want to change the colors for yourself in Pattern Keeper, I recommend you go check out that video. I'll link it down below. This next project is a DMC. It's technically a kit, but I just bought the patterns off of someone without the kit. So I just bought the pattern off of someone who had finished it already on like Facebook. So these are like the Christmas jars. So they're like kind of like mason jars, and then inside the jar would be like a little like Christmas scene. So it'll be like a reindeer or a Christmas tree or a snowman. And this is how far I've gotten on the Christmas jars ornaments. I will turn these into ornaments just because they're not that big and I think they look cute on a tree. I am stitching this on 14 count light blue Aida, just whatever I could find at my big box store. And then because it's a dimensions kit, I had to convert my own DMC. So the pattern is in, you know, a different number system using completely different threads. So I had to convert my own. So that's how far I've gotten on them. And I think there's a series of 4. So there's 4 different jars. Very fun. This is another dimensions kit. This is from the Gold collection, and these are the Christmas Ornament Village Christmas ornaments, but in Christmas Village. I did get the full kit for this. I saw someone stitching it and I really wanted it, so I reached out to the Facebook group that I'm part of, and I was just like, hey, does anyone have this? And somebody had it and was willing to sell me the whole kit, which is amazing. I have not gotten very far, but they give you 1 piece of fabric. So this is 18 count ivory Aida, and I am using the provided threads. And then they have you divide it up into 6 quadrants because there's 6 ornaments. And this is how far I've gotten on the little pink Victorian house. It's kind of cute because you can see the sunset back here. And I think the shading looks really well. Looks really, really good in this pattern. So I'm really happy with how that's turning out. I had to start ripping out this pink here because I think I may have used the wrong color. But yeah, that's how far I've gotten on that. This next pattern is a Christmas ornament that I pulled out of the Just Cross Stitch Christmas Ornament Edition. This is a polar bear. I think he's in a sweater. But this is how far I've gotten. So he's got little ornament garlands up here. And then you can see his cute little face. And then he's got like a sweater and a hat. This is stitched on light mocha Belfast linen in 32 count. And I do anticipate that this one will be finished for Christmas. I'm using all the card for DMC on that. This is one of the last Christmas ornament projects that I have in my stash. This is also from the 2021 Christmas Ornament Edition from Just Cross Stitch. This is on 14 count Aida, and I'm just using a standard green DMC thread. This is called Ribbon Candy, and so you're supposed to stitch it so that it looks kind of similar on the back. And then once you got this all stitched up, then you're going to weave it like ribbon candy and put it on your tree. But it's a little hard to stitch the front the same as the back. Because like, for example, here I ran out of thread. So it looks like decent in the front, but in the back I have a knot. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to keep stitching this. Obviously my heart's not in it because I haven't finished. And it's pretty simple. It's just straight stitches. So we'll see. That is the last Christmas ornament. I think we only have 2 more projects after this. This next project is actually a stitch along. It's one of the only stitch alongs I'm doing this year, 2022. I did start this in January of 22, and this is the project. It's a tarot cell, and this is by Witches Garden Crafts on Facebook. It's a huge Facebook group and you can find all the information there, but essentially you'll just buy this pattern off of her Gumtree or you'll donate. So if you don't have any money, you can still participate and you can still join. 2 cards are released a month and it is April. So if you are behind on this stitch along, don't feel bad, I'm right there with you. And this is on 18 count fiddler's cloth as well, and I'm using the card for DMC. I finished the 4. I have not backstitched them yet or put their name on the card. The next one is the Empress. Don't ask me what the other cards are. I haven't looked yet. But I am using up here in the top, I'm using a blend of metallic DMC and 834, but anyone who's worked with like metallic DMC knows that like it's the worst. It's not fun to stitch with because it gets so knotted and it kinks up and just likes to make your life terrible to stitch with. So yeah, if you're behind on the tarot side, do not feel bad. I'm right there with you. The good news is the cards aren't that big, so I feel like if I really put my mind to it, I could probably catch up. Okay, and this is the last project I have. So this is the cover page. This is a dimensions kit. It's called Cafe by the Sea. I don't think that this is actually where it's from, but it reminded me of a lovely trip that I took to Maine, where we stayed in Camden. And I think I left a piece of my heart in Camden, Maine, so I wanted to stitch this. It is a full kit that I was able to pick up. It was just, once again, somebody was destashing, and I was able to pick this up. I have not gotten very far. So here's where I'm at. I don't know if it goes this way or this way, but this is where I'm at. And this is, once again, this is a dimensions kit. I'm using all the provided materials. So this is 14 count Aida, and I'm using all the provided threads. Perfect. So that was my WIP Parade. That is all the projects that I'm working on this year in 2022. It's all the projects that I have in my stash that I have started in some capacity. So yeah, that is the end of my video. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you're new, feel free to subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!